So a lot of you may have read the book Ego is the Enemy. And I always thought that was kind of a cliche thing and not something to be taken seriously. But recently in my training, I've been disregarding a lot of injuries and overworking that I've done to myself to push myself to do more weight, right? And I realized that is because of my ego. And my identity is attached to someone that is quite strong and does quite well in the gym. And when I'm injured, I obviously can't train as hard as I can, or I can't go as heavy as I can, and that hurts my ego, and I disregard the limits I've set to myself, and then I go do a higher weight, and then I injure myself. And you've noticed in a lot of people that the ones that are egotistical are actually very insecure, and it's because I'm very insecure about being weak, right? I don't want to be weak, I want to be strong. And it led me to realize that ego will lead you down paths that will ultimately be detrimental to where you want to go in life. It can be a great motivator, but at the end of the day, if you just keep pushing yourself beyond your limits to achieve an identity that isn't really that important, it will be very detrimental. Um, Everyone has an ego, right? It's literally human nature to have an ego. If we're really good at something, and our pride is attached to it, most likely we have an ego. Pride is attached to me going to the gym and me working hard, and therefore sometimes I overwork myself to maintain that identity. And I realize that's when we need to let the ego go, right? It's in those moments where we actually know, like I knew deep down that I really shouldn't be training this hard, especially in my current condition, but I still did it, and that hindered my progress because I stayed injured. And sometimes my condition worsened until I took a step back and actually rested and said, okay, I've come to terms with the fact that I am going to get weaker, but in the long run, I'll get stronger. A lot of people have that in terms of work, where they just overwork themselves and they get burnout because they just can't handle the idea of seeming weak or inefficient or not hardworking in front of the people around them. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about is in these last few days I've just realized that I have an ego. I have a fat fucking ego, and it's actually hindering my growth in a lot of things. Um, I've used this image before, but monks, for example, they're very happy because they meditate and they're aware, but that makes them aware of their ego, and it allows them to let go of things that they know is aren't necessarily going to benefit them that much in the future. Whatever your ego is attached to isn't the be all end all. When we have an ego attached to something, it almost becomes our entire world, and you get this tunnel vision where you just let everything around you go to focus on this, to maintain this one thing, that you're just not willing to take a step back and reassess where you are. Yeah, I'm very tired. I'm gonna go to sleep.